I hope you guys are all having a good night. Smash that like button. It's Jordan Tower with JT News. Smash that subscribe button and don't forget to hit that like button. Okay, so everybody's fascinated with the story of Azie, Rich Porter, and Alpo. Okay, Gangsta Lou recently did an interview, and he said he's doing interviews more so now because he doesn't, if God forbid something happened to him, he doesn't want someone else to tell his story. I hear him on that. Now, he let some information go here that, I think he's done this before, and this information's already out there. It's nothing unknown that Azie actually told on somebody. Now, we heard this with Kevin Chiles' interview with Funk Flex. Azie had responded during that one. I'll play the replay on that after this, but yeah, Azie had responded to that and said he didn't, it was his brother-in-law or something he told. And then Gangsta Lou said, yeah, he had to tell because he's a civilian. And I was like, what does he mean by that? Because in that Kevin Childs interview, he referred to the guy next to him. He said, the lady in the store that calls the cops versus a guy in the street that calls the cops. The lady in the street is a civilian. She's not into like a gang life. She didn't take on that life. She's a tax-paying citizen and a civilian. He said Azie's basically a civilian because he never talked any tough guy stuff. He just came in the game and kind of just changed it up, meaning like made it more profitable and made it more like a business. He came in and changed up the packs and really put everybody on in the street to eat. Put a lot of crews under him and was making sure everybody was eating. And Gangsta Lou said, he to me, he's a civilian, and there's more good that outweighs the bad with him. But, I could never talk to him ever again or anything because, he broke that code. Or basically he wouldn't have a conversation with him. He does talk to him once in a while, but he said it's never the same. Like, his credibility shot from what he did, Now, in the Kevin Childs interview, he was alluding that Azie was, helping the government with some things, So, it's like we're hearing all these stories now and we're fascinated, especially because of Paid in Full and all the before Paid in Full you heard about, mob style, they rapped, He said even in Azie's raps, he never talked no tough guy stuff, So it's like, it's interesting, Now Alpo's home. Of course, Rich Porter's not here anymore because of Alpo, but Alpo's home, and I see him. I mean, you've seen footage of him around, but then I've seen him like punish some YouTubers for talking about him. Like there's this one YouTuber that is just obsessed with talking about him all the time, and I don't blame him because it's fascinating, that kind of stuff. But I think it bothers him that people glorify Alpo when Alpo told, so I don't know, man. It's interesting to hear Gangsta Lou's interviews, and shout out to FDS with Queen's Flip doing the interview. That was pretty good, man. It was like I'll probably sign up to his Patreon and check out the full interview because he's been doing some pretty good interviews lately. He's doing kind of what Flex was doing a year and a half ago, going through a lot of street stories and everything. So anyways, guys, I appreciate you guys. I hope everything's good. Here's the throwback of Kevin Childs talking about it, and then we'll go into, I have my own Azie interview. I'll put a little bit of that, a different part of that. Well, I was kind of shocked to hear this story. Now, first and foremost, Kevin Childs, owner Don Diva magazine. I mean, that's a great story, and I have tremendous respect for this guy because, he hustled in the 80s. He got caught up in the 90s, never told on anybody, stood up for his people. And if you're doing bad things, right, like if you're doing illegal activities with your friends and you get caught, you don't tell on anybody else, right? So he said he got caught with like 20, they arrested 22 people that he was affiliated with. Nobody told. One guy was on the run named Chuck, I guess, and when, you know, their case was falling apart because, you know, the cops rely on somebody to talk. We've all seen, you know, First 48, people usually talk, and nobody talks. So he was going to be free and clear. But when they caught this guy, Chuck, that he says was a guy that he helped, like he put on, this guy told, and then, so let me play a little bit of this under the fair use thing.
This gentleman from Mount Vernon, when he eventually got caught.
Right, March of the next year of '95.
So did he speak? Did he cooperate?
As soon as they put the handcuffs on.
So this guy had told on him. And then what he learned, now this guy was hustling around the same time. We've all seen the movie Paid in Full, okay? And that was based on, you know, Azie, Alpo, Rich Porter. And basically, we all love that movie. And we all know how it ends. You know, Alpo ends up snitching in D.C., but it turns out that, like, you know, we all thought Azie just got away free and clear, but the way he tells it is that Azie was probably cooperating with them because he got to see his paperwork. When you don't take, he explained it where you don't take a plea. If you take a plea, you don't see who has, you know, who's talking about you or anything. You don't see, because they have to show the your lawyer all the evidence they have once you're going to fight your case. And most people plea out and they take time and they just, you know, they go away. He was able to see his paperwork and see everyone who had mentioned him. And, you know, there was, Alpo didn't take the stand, but Alpo had offered assistance and, you know, a document. Azie was a part of that document. And then he said this guy, Chuck, who was part of his team, had seen what they said and was testifying on what they said. You know, it wasn't per se on what he did and saw, it was what he heard. So this is what saved him in his case, because it was so sloppy. But it was shocking to see that Azie maybe was cooperating with the government, and that was never talked about. Of course he wouldn't talk about that, right? But, you know, you never heard about this. And I even interviewed him. I thought, like, he just, you know, was one of the lucky ones that got away. Because Alpo in that of the movie, it's like, oh, he was going to snitch on people from D.C., but he wasn't going to snitch on anybody from New York.
He didn't know what he didn't back on it, I guess, helping them.
Mm-hmm.
He was cool with Poe.
Where was Azie in all of this?
Looking back on it, I guess, helping them.
Helping them, when you say them, you mean
the government.
He was helping the government.
Yeah, that's the way it appears in my paperwork.
So he said that's the way it appears in his paperwork. So he's not straight out calling him a snitch, but he's saying it appears that he might have been helping the government to put him away, and that's disappointing. But I'll leave you guys with a little interview that me and Forbes DVD had done with Azie way back, right after the movie came, a few years after the movie came out. I'll leave you with this.
If they'd have did trap, I wouldn't have got those type of phone calls.
Okay.
You feel me? I'm mad because they betrayed me at the end on some funny shit. But why did they do that? To try to sabotage the real so they could win in the fake world? Man? But hey, listen, the truth got to come back to the light. You feel me?
Yeah, so for the new one that's coming out, is it done the way it was supposed to be done? Or is this something new? Like, explain, I want to understand that.
The new film that I'm writing?
Yeah, is it the
so
real
scene for scene is
story?
the bottom. It's the truth, man. The truth. I'm not even staying in Rich Poe and Alpo's story. I'm gonna bring that, you know, like with the first 5 minutes of the film, show you what happened, but I'm showing you how gangsta rap was born.
Okay.
And how it ended. You feel me? What happened to us, why we never blew large enough, and how the government, you know, it's just telling you the inside, the truth about it.
So we all knew y'all, it was 3 of y'all. You, Rich, and Poe. That's the story with us. Rich is no longer here. Rest in peace. Poe is still alive. We don't know. Like, I don't know where he at, anything like that. Has he ever tried to reach out to you and contact you or holler at you?
I spoke to Alpo like 3 or 4 times, man. Through Troy Reed, since the movie. Poe is still the same with me. For real. And people don't understand that. It's like me and Alpo never had a problem with each other, man. Never. But I just don't understand how he did that to Dick like that.
Okay.
He explained it, but I still can't see you taking your man's life like that. If anybody try to make y'all separate or put a bug in your ear and say, I don't give a fuck who it is, you got to look at that person as someone trying to divide and conquer. And it worked, man. And that's why he in the situation he in. And you understand? And that's how I looked at that. But, you know, me and him never had no conflict. I think he, you know, Dame, when I wrote it, I was like, listen, boom, you contact Poe, Poe gonna contact you. Y'all situate what y'all need to situate. I ain't got nothing to do with that. But, you know, make sure he get what he's supposed to get. I'm not that type of dude, man. You feel me? I'm not the type of dude be riding around, hiding, ducking, gotta hide behind tents. I'm gonna come to the hood and get love just as wherever I go because I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, bro. You feel me?
So right now, do you have to reach back out to him when you do the new movie? How does that work?
This film, it's not, like I said, it's touching on it too much, and, you know, I'll have to reach back out to him, but it's not, Alpo is maybe in it a scene or two.
Okay.
It's not, you gotta read this shit to really understand what I'm doing.